And how's it going, guys and girls? It's me, Dunkel, welcome back off my channel, and yet again we are here to play DDLC Storm. In this case, Doki Doki Storm. It's about Yuri. You already know what this is all about. Um, Either way, you might notice that my voice is a little bit weaker this time. I've been in the camping, like these last 4 days. I've been camping with some friends, and my voice kinda got a little messy. Either way, that's beside the point. Let's keep going. So, yep, here it is. Let's go. Hint, you can use skip button to fast forward through the text you've already read. Okay, but I cannot skip forward because I haven't read this. So part of me thinks that maybe out of all the people I've ever known, he could be someone I could talk to comfortably. Do I dare try? The thought terrifies me. Still, I find myself trying to work up the courage to say something. Yeah, my voice barely comes out as a croak, but it gets his attention. Our eyes meet. I freeze. My voice completely dies in my throat. Panic overtakes me. I raise my book to hide my face behind it. I'm messing this up. I'm so stupid. Why can't I do a simple thing like say a few words? Sorry. We're just spacing out. He actually came over to talk to me. Oh, it's fine. He said he was spacing out, maybe like the way I do. I smile inwardly at the thought. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so that's the book that you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. It suddenly occurs me that it was foolish to bring both copies of the book. It makes it obvious that I purchased the book just for him. But I didn't think of that. Why didn't I think that sooner? I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have two copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... No, why did I say that? That's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy two of them. I see. I've ruined it. It has to be obvious what I did now. Well, what would the problem be, though? It ain't that much of a trouble. Wait, give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. Let's go. I've ruined it, but it has to be obvious what I did now. He's giving me a strange calculating look, probably trying to think of an excuse to leave. I'll definitely start reading it soon. Maybe I can still salvage some small portion of this. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. Or maybe that's just you, I don't know. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What is it about, anyway? He's not living? Well, I close the book and pretend to look over the blurb on the back. Obviously, I already know the answer of this question without looking, but I need this moment to try to calm myself. Alright, I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison, and while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships, and their life starts to fall apart. That's kind of... It throws off. He seems uncertain what to say. I remember that he did say that he's only ever read one horror book before, so maybe he's as unused to talking about it as I am. I can't help giggling at how much we seem to have in common. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Luke? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals, or their own philosophy of what they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they turned out to be as naive as one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plan. I think I see his eyes glazing over. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. He's so patient and kind and understanding. Maybe he'll be forgiving of some of my unusual traits. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like book and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. Ah, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading, right? Huh? Right now? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. He takes the whole copy of the book out of his bag. Alright, it's fine to sit if I sit here, right? Without waiting for my answer, he sits down in the seat to the right of mine. My feelings of apprehension skyrocket. What's happening? Ah, yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just that it's something I'm not very used to. That is reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just let me know. Just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. There's no possible way I'll be able to focus on my book with him sitting so close to me. Alright, he opens his book in front of him, and I do the same with mine. We sit like that for some time. I can't help looking over at his copy, at my old copy of the book. I still feel kinda bad that I gave it away. I hope he treats it well. I wonder if he would be open to trading them. But that might sound like a weird thing to ask. I don't dare bring it up. Suddenly he glances over at me and our eyes meet. He saw that I was staring at him. Sorry, I was just... Here, you really apologize too much, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean, stupid. He's laughing at me. Here, this should work, right? He gets up. That's it, I finally scared him away. But no, he moves his desk and chair closer until they're touching mine, and then sits back down. He then places his open copy of the book between us. My heart feels like it's in my throat. It's beating so hard. I suppose so. I guess we're both going to be reading from his copy then. With shaking hands, I close my new book and put it away. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here, I take the left side of the book in my left hand. He does the same with the right side in his right hand. We start reading together like this. Our bodies are so close together they're almost touching. And this is very surreal for me on many levels. I've never read this with someone before. I've never been so close to someone before, and something about the fact that we're reading from my old copy of the book makes me feel like I'm sharing an old friend with him. It is by far the most intimacy I've ever experienced with another human being. It's an exhilarating feeling. It makes it hard to focus on the book. Not that matters, since I already know the whole book by heart, more or less. But I should probably at least make a show of pretending to read it. Are you ready? To turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. Our eyes meet again. He looks nervous, or am I just projecting my own feelings on him? Is he scared about what's going to happen in the book? I wonder if his heart's beating as fast as mine. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a little bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. Time passes, I still can't focus on reading. I stop trying to speak, I just let him turn the page whenever he's ready. Sorry for being quiet for so long. I had some stuff to take care of with my parents. Either way, let's keep going. Each time he turns the page, he brings it over to my side so I can hold it with my hand. I spend our time watching his hand, watching the delicate movements of his fingers over the page. There's something sensual about it. It's strangely calming, mesmerizing even. My heart rate slows and I'm able to relax and enjoy my time with him. Somehow I never quite touch his hand. When he turns the page, I wonder what he would be like to touch him. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. What? My heart rate picks up again. I have to remind myself that we're still on chapter 1 and we haven't gotten to the darker parts of the story yet. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways. But she also second guesses all of the things that she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. I consider this. It's true that I identify with her. In fact, sometimes, for fun, I write short stories from her perspective. But it sounds like he sees me as blundering and foolish. He must really dislike me after all. I thought we were having a good time, the best time I've ever had. I should have known he wasn't enjoying it. I feel ashamed and guilty to have gotten so much enjoyment at this expense. I feel myself spiraling. Spiraling? Yeah, that's it, spiraling into despair. He's not going to want to read with me again like this, is he? But look, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. No, that's embarrassing that you think that. I shouldn't be saying this. I know I shouldn't. I'm just making things worse. Wait, I didn't mean in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of things. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. Cute? Wait a bit. That makes no sense. I'm not cute at all. Nothing about me is cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. Oh god. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yeah, is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. I haven't, but that's not the reason I'm feeling down. It's because I'm going down. Yeah, it's fine. I almost put the book into my belongings, but then I remember that it belongs to Luke now. Let go of it and able to look at it. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I think I would like to read with him every day and forever. I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case I'll read a little more tonight. It will be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright, now I should put the book into his bag. I'm very confused right now. It sounds like he wants to read with me again. Is it because he feels bad for me? Is he doing it out of pity? But no, he said reading with me would be fun. Does that mean he enjoyed it? I can't imagine that he enjoyed it as much as I did. Could I be overthinking this? Pretty much, yeah. I don't know how to stop thinking. I wish I did. Maybe I really should be taking what he says at face value. But that would suggest that he thinks I'm cute. How unthinkable. Suddenly my thoughts are interrupted when a piece of paper enters my field of vision. Luke is offering me his poem. I'm at least good at reading and writing, so maybe this will be my chance to show that I don't always look foolish. As I read through his poem, I become increasingly surprised at how good it is. Well, actually the structure is a little choppy, but besides that, the imagery is highly evocative, and he demonstrates an impressive vocabulary. The imagery is highly evocative and he demonstrates an impressive vocabulary. There's just one word I can think of to describe it. Exceptional. Eh? What was that? Did I say it out loud? I dropped the poem to bring my hands up to my mouth. Wait a bit. So much for not looking foolish. I'm so embarrassed I end up covering up my old face, looking away from him. I'm messing this all over again. The only thing I could have been good at, and I'm ruining it. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. Eh? I didn't? I guess you're right. What am I, getting so nervous for? I use my nervous laughter to cover my ragged breathing until I can get it under control. I have to regain my focus. I have to show I can speak intelligently about this. I take a deep breath. So, what kind of writing experiences do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? I was not expecting that at all. Wait, give me a sec. I was not expecting that at all. I looked from him back to the poem again. This is his first time? Could he just be a natural at this? Could he even be some kind of prodigy? I suddenly find him very intimidating, because not only is wonderful at everything else, he may be better than me at the only thing I'm good at. Still, I feel I need to prove that I'm worth something. Well, I know that. I just meant a trail off and criticism. Any criticism I can think is going to sound very pretty weak. But the structure seems like a good place to start. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers, and having been through that myself, I kind of learned that to pick up on them. I think the most notable thing I recognize is in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and expressiveness are weakened. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them, but building them. But getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice, and learning by example and trying new things. Ugh, I hate that the way I sound. I'm really reaching, grasping at anything I can, and I'm being so vague. Don't know if any of this is constructive. I hope I at least sound a little confident, but I think I may be going too far. I know that no one likes it when I act like a know-it-all. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little beast, though. Beast? How? I'm tempted to talk about how simple and immature and rude she is. Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I would love to share my thought process behind it. I pulled my poem out of my bag and handed it to him. I pulled my poem out of my bag and handed it to him. When I first wrote it, I was feeling pretty good, but I'm feeling a lot less confident now. Will it be enough to impress him? I nervously watch him read it. How much time has passed? It feels like a long time. The longer he spends reading, the more anxious I feel about his reaction. Finally, he hands it back to me. I'm having trouble reading this expression. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you so long time to read. Ah, well, I just don't read scripts very often. I actually think your handwriting's pretty. It's pretty. I feel a fluttering sensation inside of me. Eh? That's relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I feel like knots are untying themselves in my stomach. I didn't realize how much tension I was holding there. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest, since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghost theory? Huh? Oh, right, the title. You really don't understand the poem at all then. It makes him a lot less intimidating. Actually, the story isn't about the ghost at all, Luke. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. I hope he doesn't notice that I just contradicted myself. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps, the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in a less remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. Eh? It's not really. Yours was impressive too. So, if anything I could probably learn a thing or two coming from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. Impressive. He thinks I'm impressive. I impressed him. Wow. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Luke. Me too. I'm still feeling breathless as he moves on to show his poem to Natsuki. Let's keep going. I'm still feeling breathless as he moves on to show his poem to Natsuki. So it seems safe to go next. She was pleasant earlier. Hey Yuri, having fun? After my dizzying experience with Luke, fun doesn't seem like the right word, but yes, thank you. And yourself? Yeah, I love that we're finally sharing with each other. Sometimes it feels like we keep to ourselves too much in here. Monica has the best ideas. I can't help glancing at Luke again as I nod in agreement. So, do you want to read my poem now? Certainly. The title is Dear Sunshine. It's a very simplistic poem about sunshine in the morning. It's very literal. There don't seem to be any metaphors in it at all. Still, I should say something nice about it. It's a good start. The sun is a good focal point for the theme for your poem. It's the source of all life in the world, after all, and something that everyone can identify with. But don't be afraid to add more metaphors to your work. Let your mind walk through your feelings and write down what words come down to you. In particular, this last line I won't brag with, is a very mundane line to end with. Yeah, but the rest is awesome. Well, I suppose so. In any case, with this practice, it can only mean your next work will be better. I would look forward to seeing how you improve if you ever wish to share again. Thanks, dear, that's really sweet of you. Can I see yours now? Very well. As she looks over my poem, her eyes light up in intense interest. This is really good, Yuri. That ghost sure sounds spooky. I see, it isn't at all sophisticated as I expected. I wonder if it was worth even trying to explain that the ghost is the metaphor. Also, I can't help wondering why she is vice president instead of myself, even though I'm not sure how well I would fit in that role. It isn't intended to be spooky. It's about wanting to stay in the comfort of the past, while being pushed forward into the future. Oh, that's so deep. I love it. Thanks for sharing, Yuri. I smile graciously in response. It's time to move on. I hope somebody here understands my metaverse. It almost makes me wonder if I should consider my choice of style. Wait a bit, Monica approaches me next. Give me a sec. Monica approaches me next. How are you holding up, Yuri? Are you surviving okay? I allow myself to a low chuckle. I'm doing alright. I admit that I was reluctant at first, but it's getting easier. Glad to hear it. Let's get started then, shall we? Monica hands me her poem, entitled Hole in the Wall. It's about, I'm not even sure about what it's about. It feels like it's full of dark, hidden meanings beyond my comprehension. Monica gazes me with a gentle, curious expression. What are your thoughts on it? Your use of metaphors to convey emotions is most impressive. If I had to guess, it sounds like you had some kind of blinding realization of feeling trapped. Monica raised an eyebrow. Very acid. Yes, you could say I had an epiphany recently. It's been influencing my work. Interesting. May I ask what is the nature of your epiphany? Sorry, Yuri, don't take this the wrong way, but it's not really something I want to share right now. For some reason, she glances in Luke's direction when she says this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to impose. It's alright. It's just something I have to deal with in my own way. Don't worry about it. She gives me a friendly smile. Can I see our poem now? Of course. As she is reading my poem, I find myself wondering what could possibly make Monica feel trapped. She's intelligent, beautiful, and popular. Surely there's nothing holding her back from attaining everything she wants. After she finishes reading, she passes it back to me with a bemused look on her face. Wow, you really don't like doing this, do you? Well, I'm not. It's okay, Yuri. I just think it's funny. You wrote a poem about how you don't want to write a poem. That's a pretty meta, I respect that. She understood it. She understood my metaphor. But now I can't help but feeling embarrassed about it. I'm sorry, Monica. I didn't mean any disrespect. It's okay, really. I know this is art for you, but you're smart, capable, and clearly talented. You don't need to hold back so much. You don't have to be afraid to put more of yourself into your poem. The whole point of the exercise is for us to express ourselves in new and different ways. We're all in this together. We're not going to judge you. Monica raises a fair point. Perhaps I was being silly in dreading sharing my poetry all along. It's a good reminder of why Monica is president. Her kind and patient demeanor helps me relax. That's reassuring. Thank you, Monica. I will definitely give that some thought. Next time I would like to see you be a bit more daring with your writing. Next time? Yes, well, this is going well enough. I think I would like to do this again for tomorrow. We can discuss that later though. I think right now you have one more person to share a poem with. She gestures towards Natsuki, who is sitting at a nearby desk looking grumpy. Does she ever not look angry? No. I've been dreading this. I had been wondering if I could just avoid her altogether. But now that Monica is rightly pointing her out, I can't exactly do that. I start to approach Natsuki, but I can't seem to bring myself to walk right up to her. I find it much easier to just sit at the desk next to hers. I'm not sure how much of it is because of leftover feeling of frustration, or just how generally nervous I feel around her. This would be easier if she would look at me. Finally she sighs and glances in my direction. Let's get this over with. She begrudgingly hands me her poem while snatching mine out of my hand. Her gruff movement makes me more uncomfortable than I already was. It doesn't help that she keeps grumbling to herself while she is reading my poem. I look over hers, the title is Eagles Can Fly, and it's a short poem about a bunch of cute animals. I smile to myself while reading it. It's even more simplistic than Sayori was. What's with this language? Eh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. She puts my poem back in my desk in a dismissive gesture. I guess you could say it's fancy. Ah, thanks. That sounds a lot better than I expected from her. I should say something nice about hers too. Yours, cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clear about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? That was not the reaction I was expecting. Did I do something wrong? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. This is so stressful. Why can't she just be calm like everyone else? What do I do? Well, Sayori and Luke accepted my offers to help, so maybe I can try that here too. Well, I do have a couple of suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and Luke did too. So based on that, I gladly give you some suggestions of mine. First of all, I feel particularly stung by the comments about Luke. My earlier anger is returning. Excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime sooner unless, of course, I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. Natsuki is looking more and more angry, but I don't care anymore. And Luke liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. I held my head up with pride at that last comment. Natsuki suddenly stands up. She looks like she's trying to tower over me. But she's so short she only comes up to my eye level with me while I'm sitting down. I still can't help feeling a little scared though. Well, she is a little too strong for a kid, so yeah. No, I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Eh? That's not what I... you're just... This is extremely uncomfortable. Why does she have to keep bringing Luke into this? I summon up all my anger so I'll feel less afraid. I find myself standing up too. Maybe you're just jealous that he appreciates my advice more than he appreciates yours. I don't know if seeing your point of view is worse or better than the original DDLC game. I bet it's worse. I like the original DDLC game because we actually have choices. In here we don't. And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? I'm a little stunned. I thought I was making a meaningless display of bravado, but it's true, isn't it? She really is jealous. Unbelievable. How can she probably think that Luke could be interested in someone like her? He's so sophisticated and she's so simple and cute. No, if I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way and to make everything I do overly cutesy. She really hates being called cute. I hope my comment made her feel as stung as I do. Is everyone okay? Sayori? I suddenly noticed that everyone's attention is on us, including Luke's. Well, you know what? I wasn't the one who magically grew a size bigger as soon as Luke started showing up. Time stops. They're bigger? I bring my hands up to my chest in a futile effort to hide them. I know they're larger than those of normal people. I know everyone stared at me for them, but I really thought they would stop growing. The storm is rising, my head fills with unbearable thoughts. Having this brought up so publicly is so humiliating that I just want to disappear. I find myself thinking of my purple knife still in my bag and what I want to do with it. I have to fight with everything I have to suppress those thoughts. I don't want to lose control in front of so many people. I try to keep the hurt out of my voice. Nasky. Nasky, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. I don't like fighting, guys. They won't stop looking. Luke won't stop looking. He must think really badly of me by now. Somewhere amidst the storm, he's the desperate hope that I can convince him not to hate me, or at least hate me less. Look, she is just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. If she could get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point of making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out to the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her. Is this really still about poetry for her? She actually trying to convince him that being simple is better? Somewhere in the rolling storm within me is a desire to try to prove myself one last time. Wait, there's a reason why we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, Luke? It feels like it takes the less of my energy to get those words out. Well, you look so uncomfortable. I feel bad about being impatient. But the storm is so bad, I feel like I'm barely in control. At this point, all I can do is wait for his response, and to my horror, he turns Nasky. I sink back into my chair. I really didn't think he would prefer Nasky writing over mine. His writing is so refined and elegant, and hers is so not. Eerie. It takes a monumental effort to pull myself away from my thoughts to focus on them. You are a seriously talented writer. It's not a secret that I'm impressed. Well, but here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting fingers into it, and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute. I don't understand. I didn't insult her. I didn't threaten her. If anything, she threatened me. I'm having trouble focusing right now, but I see that he really does prefer her over me after all. I see. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry. The storm takes over. It blocks out all the sounds. The last thing I see is Luke turning back towards Natsuki again. I bent over my desk with my face in my hands and my hair hiding everyone from view. I start to cry, keeping my hands over my mouth to stifle any sound. How did everything go so wrong? How can he, like someone as hate-filled as Natsuki, more than me? Does that mean I'm somehow worse? I must be. Was it really just Natsuki's writing that he liked, or was it something else? Maybe it was the fact that I lost my temper and drove him away from me. Maybe it's the fact that she's more reasonably sized that he likes. The words echo in my head. I wasn't the one who magically grew up when he started showing up. How does that even make sense? Wait, was she trying to suggest that I deliberately had to myself? Why would I do that? Why would anyone do that? Even by my standards, that seems like a weird thing to suggest. I wipe away my tears. There's so much in this world I don't understand. Everything alright? I see Luke standing over me with a look of concern on his face. Monica and Sayori are also nearby, looking noticeably uncomfortable. For some reason, Natsuki doesn't seem to be in the room. It's probably the only reason she is paying any attention to me now. I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you. If he doesn't think any less of me, that probably means he didn't think much of me to begin with. I suppose I should be thankful that he's been this gracious to me. Well, alright, I'll leave you. Thanks, Luke, you're too kind. I'm thankful to have you a part of this club now. Yeah, it's nothing. One more thing. That one thing that Natsuki said about, I would never do anything so shameful. So, what thing did Natsuki say? I can't bring myself to say it. I'm not even completely sure that it's how Natsuki meant it. Well, never mind that. I'm sure my anxiety must be showing. I need to calm myself down. I'm going to make some tea. Ah, good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yeah. Going through the motions for preparing tea helps occupy me, but does little to quell the storm. Luke and I sit drinking tea together in silence as my negative thoughts surge and threaten to overwhelm me. All I can think about is that he would rather be with Natsuki. I wonder if I should say something, but all I can do is dwell on how miserable I am. Natsuki comes back into the room. I wonder where she was. I expect Luki to go greet her, but Monica steps in. Okay, everyone, it's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. How can someone talk about fun when I feel so wretched? I still find myself casting my mind back to earlier in the afternoon. I guess the earlier part was enjoyable at least. Well, I would say it was worth it. I just want to go home. I just want to be away from people. I feel somewhat relieved that it's time to leave. But that relief turns into despair when Luke walks away without another word to me. He and Sayuri leave together. I guess he likes her more than me too. The storm torments me all the way home. I walk with my hand in my bag, gripping the handle of my knife hard. It's the only thing keeping me grounded enough to not completely lose control in public. Once in the privacy of my room, I allow the storm to hit me full force. I want to scream, but no sound comes out. I sink to my knees. The whole world falls away. Nothing exists except the horrible thoughts inside my head. One stands out above all the others. I hate my breath. They are so big and ugly and shameful. Everything about my body is awkward and clumsy and hideous, like some kind of human train wreck. I hate myself. I hate myself. I hate myself. Ah! I just stabbed myself in the chest. There's blood running down in the front of my uniform. Panic, 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 panic. Hey, yo, what the fuck? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Should I pull it out? It's supposed to be bad to do that. Should I call an ambulance? No, I would never be able to explain this. They would see all my scars. They would lock me away somewhere. Panic, 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 panic. Okay, I have to focus. I have to focus. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. I have to stop the bleeding. The knife will have to come out. The bathroom. I feel like fainting at the sight of my reflection. Well, why would you do that? But I have to focus. I can do this. I can do this. I'm grasping as I pull the knife out of me. Blood starts coming out of the wound faster. I drop the knife and grab a hand towel, which I press on to my chest as hard as I can. I slowly slump to the floor against the wall. My thoughts continue racing as I sit there. Why did I do it? Why did I do it? What was I thinking? Was I thinking? I just plunged it straight into myself. I guess I wanted to punish my breast for existing. What a stupid thought. What's wrong with my brain? What's wrong with me? Why do these impulses come to me? Why can't I resist them? But I can't think of that right now. I have to think of what I'm going to do. The knife wasn't in all the way. I don't think it reached my ribs. It has embedded in the tissue of my breast, my left breast, and that's mostly made of fat. I don't think I ate anything vital. The amount of blood coming out is scaring me though. Must have hit an artery. Are there any major arteries in the breast? My anatomy knowledge is failing me right now. I can't concentrate. I think the wound is going to need stitches. I have a sewing kit in my room, but I never done anything like this before. Do I need a special thread for that? Don't even know. I think I would need to be sterilized first at least. For that matter, I should make sure the wound is clean too. I look under the towel, which is now covered in blood. I think the bleeding is slowing, but I can't tell for sure. I'm going to have to undress to see it better. I slowly pull myself to my feet. Okay, and hastily remove my uniform. Okay. It looks like the knife went in through my bra. I think I'm going to have to take that off too. Oh, the scars on their arms. Oh, I'm showing. I feel like crying. I don't want to look at my breast. My hands are still slippery from the blood as I reach behind myself to fumble with the clasps. Then I get it open and force myself to look away from the mirror. Thank God you did that. I don't want to put another video in +18. When I wipe away the excess of blood, I can see that the wound is smaller than I thought. The bleeding has slowed to a trickle. That's encouraging, I think, but there's only one way I can think of cleaning it. I open the medicine cabinet and pull out a bottle of rubbing alcohol. I've used it on small cuts before, but I know this is going to sting a lot worse than usual. I start breathing faster again as I remove the cap. My hands shake as I hold the open bottle over myself. I angle myself so it will go inside the wound. I hesitate. Just do it. Get it over with. I need to do this. Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams! I pour out the alcohol. Ah! Searing pain penetrates my whole body. I drop to the floor in agony. I bite down on my hand to stop myself from screaming any further. I taste blood. Tears stream down my face. I hope the neighbors didn't hear me. Finally, a new heart. This is going to be the thumbnail, I guess. I lie on the floor. I can't bring myself to move. All I can do is think about everything wrong with me and my ugly, ugly body. People always stare at my breasts. My classmates make fun of me for them. Every adult that I've ever met has always told me how important it is to cover them up. And it's only gotten more urgent the bigger they get, frantic even. Even my parents, who are normally so quiet, get surprisingly vocal about it. I feel shame. Every time I feel strangers staring at them, probably thinking about how hideous they are. My body is all wrong, my brain is all wrong. I can't do anything right. Not even the most basic things that all normal people do. I don't know how to hold a conversation or make a friend. I'm never going to have a normal life. The thought makes me cry harder. I think of every classmate at school who ever called me weird, everyone who ever laughed at me, everyone who ever made fun of the way I walk, either talk too slowly or get called a know-it-all. I'm so stupid I can't get anything right. I remember earlier wondering how Luke could like Natsuko more than me. Now I feel stupid for having thought that. Of course he would like her more than me. He would like anyone more than me. I'm just too broken. I think of the time I spent reading with him today. It was the most wonderful, beautiful thing I've ever experienced, and now I know it will never happen again. I start sobbing into the floor. And on top of all of that, I have this disturbing habit of hurting myself, and I don't know how to stop. I want to stop, I have to stop, I need to stop. And yet even as I'm lying here, I want to do it again. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And she fell asleep on the floor. Wow. Oh, oh, that's no good. That is no goodie. I'm so cold. I wonder how much time has passed. My parents are probably going to be home soon. The bleeding seems to have stopped, but there's a lot of blood on the floor. I wonder how much of blood I would have to lose to die from it. I don't want to die. Not really. I should get up. I feel a wave of dizziness as I slowly pull myself to my feet. I'm so thirsty. I go to the sink, willing myself not to look at the mirror again. I don't want to know what I look like. I cup my hands under the faucet and fill them with water. Then I bring it to my lips. It looks red and tastes bloody, but I don't care right now. And my movements seem to have started the trickle of blood coming out of the wound again. I think I'd better focus on sewing it up. I'm going to need a bottle of alcohol again, but I feel that its content has filled. There's only a little bit left at the bottom. I take it with me anyway. I take my bra as well. I know I'm going to want it when I'm done. I see my knife on the floor too, red with blood. I can't bring myself to touch it right now. I stagger back into my room, barely conscious of bloody handprints. I'm leaving as I go. I look at my clock. My parents will be home soon. They always work late, a consequence of running their own business together. I pull up my sewing kit and set it on my bed. I'll have to sterilize the needle, probably this thread too. I have an idea. I go to my closet and pull out a box of vanilla scent tea light candles. I've used them to mask the smell of blood in the past. I dumped the whole bottle out on my bed, and then I start lighting them and placing them all around the room. I'm not usually very fond of sweet things, but I like the smell of vanilla. It's a very calming scent. I think I need that right now. I take a needle from the swing kit and hold it over one of the candles to sterilize it. As I gaze into the flame, another idea strikes me. I cauterize the wound? I know the theory of it. Burning the edges of the wound is supposed to stop the bleeding. It would probably be faster than sewing it, but I would have to look up how to do it. No, I have to stop overthinking things. I have to focus. I'm just going to sew it like I originally planned. I thread the needle and pour the last of the alcohol over the thread. As I sit down on my bed, I use tissues to wipe away the blood around the wound. I close my eyes. It takes some deep breaths. The vanilla helps. I'm going to need steady hands for this. Inserting the needle into my skin isn't as bad as expected. It just feels like a series of pinpricks. After all I've experienced, I hardly feel it. It just feels like sewing a hole in my clothes. Each time I push the point of the needle through the edge of the wound, it feels like progress. Each time I pull the thread tight, the wound closes a bit more. When I'm done, I can't help but feel pleased with how it looks. Once I put the bandage over it and put my bra back on, I feel a lot better. I think I'm going to be okay after all. Now it's time to clean up. As I stand up, I realize that I've just left a big bloody spot on my bedspread. I look down at myself and see that there's blood all over my right side from when I was lying in it. It's in my hair too. I desperately need a shower, but that will have to wait. I should start on the hall leading to the bathroom. That's what my parents will most likely see first. I get a cloth and some cleanser out of the cupboard and in the bathroom and get to work. I start with the bloody handprints on the walls. It's actually quite relaxing. It's remarkably calming seeing the progress. Every time I erase another drop of blood on the floor, I feel a little better. I gradually wipe out every little bit of red between my room and the bathroom. Pretty soon the hallway is looking as clean as it ever looked, and the smell of cleanser covers the smell of blood nicely. Now for the bathroom. The pool in the middle of the floor is going to be a tother. Look at my discarded uniform on the floor, also covered in blood. There's a hole clean through the blazer vest and undershirt. I can't help being impressed by the sharpness of the knife that it's penetrated so many layers of clothing so easily. I get a plastic garbage bag from under the sink and throw my uniform in it. Suddenly I hear noises coming from downstairs. A panic sets in as I realize that my parents are home. My throat is killing me. No, damn it, I'm not ready. Some small part of me admonishes myself for cursing even though I didn't say it out loud. There's still a lot of blood to be cleaned up on the floor, but not to mention the blood all over my body. What do I do? I close the bathroom door. I take some deep steadying breaths. As long as they don't come in here, I'll be fine. I'm just going to have to move a little faster. Did I close the door to my room? I can't remember. I hope so. I'm not going to go out to check now. I'll just have to hope they don't look in here. I start water running in the bathtub. If I'm taking a bath, it gives me an excuse to be in here for a while. While it's filling up, I use a towel that I've been using earlier to soak up the blood on the floor. I alternate between wiping up the blood and wringing the towel out in the sink. The fact that I have to do it more than once makes me feel increasingly alarmed about just how much blood came out of me. So much red everywhere, it's really getting to me. But with a bit of work, I'm able to get the bathroom spotless again. Then I threw the towel in the bag with the uniform. I'm thirsty again, which I guess makes sense considering how much fluid I lost. I just drink straight from the faucet this time, and beyond caring about the indignity of it. I think it's time to clean myself. And now that I think about it, my bath would feel really, really nice right now. I feel the water in my hands. It's pleasantly hot. I'm suddenly conscious of just how cold I'm feeling right now. As I finish undressing, I notice that even my panties have blood on them. Blood everywhere. How did I come to this? I try not to think about just how weird my day has gotten. I throw my underwear into the garbage bag. I'm careful to keep the wound above water. I have a feeling it would be bad to get it wet right now. I sit back in the tub and close my eyes. I let the heat from the water saturate me. It feels cleansing, rejuvenating. I start to think that maybe, just maybe, I can make a fresh start of things. Today was quite terrible, there's no doubt about that. But I guess I but I guess I feel like learned something important. For my whole life, I've witnessed people around me forming friendships and relationships, sharing experiences with each other. And I long ago made peace with the idea of that those are just things that other people do. At best, I could only experience it vicariously through the characters in my books. But what if that's not true? My experiences with Luke today was incredible. It was beyond description. Something I never thought I could possibly have happened in my life. And well, it's possible that I've ruined any chances of that happening with Luke again. But it still served as proof that these wonderful experiences exist and that I can have them. Maybe. Maybe I should stop thinking about him. Maybe I should focus more on myself. Every day when I come into the club, I spend my whole time sitting alone, reading my books. I don't interact with anyone. Well, except for one disastrous time, but I would rather not think about that. I've been keeping myself every day for months, ever since Monica formed the club. Maybe it's about time that I try reaching out to others. Maybe it's about time that I try expressing myself more. Maybe I don't have to be alone any longer. Monica and Sayori are good people. Maybe they could be good friends. Maybe even Natsuki too. Well, actually maybe not Natsuki, but Monica and Sayori for sure. My mind fills with possibilities. There are beautiful experiences out there and I can have them. I can have them for real, not just in my imagination. I smile at the thought. The future looks bright. I open my eyes. The bathwater is tinged red. The present, however, still needs some work. I'm so exhausted I feel like I could fall asleep right now. But I know that would be a bad idea. It's time to start moving again. After cleaning myself the best I can, I force myself to get up. I feel weak. It feels like it's taking all my strength to stay upright. Well, I mean, you almost bleed to death. I guess that's what it takes. I guess it would take a real lot of strength to keep you up. And since blood takes oxygen to your brain, and your brain it's pretty much what makes you move and all. And also you need blood. That red fluid is important, or else people wouldn't bleed to death. But yeah, I think that I have to be something to do with that. I suddenly realize how hungry I am. Yeah, that's about right. You should probably eat something to regain your strength. And all the things considered, it's probably really important for me to eat something to help get my strength back. Exactly. After I wrap it all around myself, I find it pleasing to watch the red water go down the drain. It feels like it's taking all my problems with it. I wipe down the tub for good measure, then check on the uniform. Mercifully, the bag has not leaked. All the blood has stayed inside. That just leaves the knife still exactly where I dropped it earlier. The source of all my trouble tonight. After a brief moment of consideration, I pick it up and retract the blade and place it on the garbage bag. I cautiously open the door and peer out into the hallway. It sounds like my parents are in the kitchen downstairs. It's going to look awfully strange if I go outside carrying a bag this late in the evening. In any case, I need to go to my room first. As I enter my room, just looking at all the blood still to clean up makes me feel exhausted. It's on the floor, it's on my bed. I don't think I have the energy left to deal with any of these right now. I think I'll wait until tomorrow to deal with my uniform. I set the bag on the floor. I'm starving. I wonder if it's safe enough to get a snack from downstairs. I could do with some tea too. I put on my pajamas. I consider what to do. I don't know how long my parents are going to stay up. I don't know if I can wait for them to go to bed. They typically don't pay much attention to me, but I still don't want to risk them noticing anything unusual. As I finish dressing, I put my hands up to my face and sniff. I still smell blood. I wonder if I'll ever get the smell out. I've had the occasion to wonder if people at school smell it on me any time I cut myself. No one ever said anything about it, but I can never be sure. Then again, normal people probably don't even know what blood smells like. Well, normal people also hurt themselves. Not in a way of what was the name of it? not on a masochist way, but everyone has hurt themselves when they were kids, probably because kids only do stupid things. And blood happens, like you scrap your knee, like because you were running and then you slip on a rock or on a stick or on something and then you scrap your knee and you start bleeding out of it. So yeah, you probably everyone already knows the smell of blood. You have an idea. I look in the closet. I try to keep things organized in there, but I know I'm going to have to go to some digging. Finally, I found what I'm looking for, a bottle of perfume. It was a birthday gift from last year. Or was it the year before that? I don't even remember who gave it to me. Some relative? An aunt? Or uncle? I don't see much. I've never really seen the point of it. It's just one of those things that girls are expected to use. Well, maybe I'll put it to use today. After a bit of fumbling, I figure out how to spray myself with it. It's a pleasant, sweet, flowery smell. Actually, something about the smell makes me feel real energized. I feel like the last of my hesitance about going downstairs has slipped away. I check my reflection once more. I look a little pale, but otherwise fine. I think I can do this. As I enter the kitchen, my parents don't even look at me. My mom is sitting at the kitchen table reading a book. My dad is behind the kitchen counter. He looks like he's preparing a snack before bed. He's blocking the way to the kettle. I wait patiently behind him for him to move. I could probably just ask him to move, but I don't trust my voice right now. Besides, it always feels strange breaking the silence in here. Eventually, he steps aside to join my mom at the table and I start preparing my tea. They still don't say anything to each other. I wonder if they talk to each other while they are at work. While I'm waiting for the water to boil, my eye is drawn to the loaf of bread that my dad was just cutting from. I could really do with some bread and butter. Probably not the most nourishing choice, but I think it's all I would be able to manage right now. I gaze to the bread knife. I hesitate about picking it up. This is the knife that started it all, the first one that I cut myself with. I think I hate it right now. I may never be normal, but that habit has caused me more trouble than anything else. Still, it's a useful tool, and I'm hungry. I pick up the knife and start cutting the bread. As the knife enters the bread, images come into my head of the knife entering other things. I force myself to look away as I'm cutting. I try to control my shaking hands. I look over my parents and still sitting on the table. I still calmly oblivious to anything unusual happening. In some ways it's refreshing that I don't have to try hard to pretend to be normal here. It doesn't matter how I behave, because they don't notice me anyway. But at the moment some part of me wants to cry and scream at them. But let them know that their daughter almost died today. Sometimes I wish that I could have some kind of relationship with them. That we could talk, that I could tell them about my day at school, or about the book I'm reading. But they could teach me things like how to make friends. It wouldn't fix everything that's wrong with me, but it might make things easier. I turn back to the counter, finish preparing my snack, and get ready to go back to my room. I hesitate. I think back to how it felt in the bathtub, about wanting a new beginning. Maybe I can start here. Maybe I can try talking to my parents for once. I turn to them. They don't look up. I can't do it. I turn away from hurry back to my room. Well, maybe my new beginning can start tomorrow. I close the door and take a seat at my desk. Once I had a little bite to eat, it eases my dizziness and lightheadedness I'm feeling. Perhaps I'll get started on the poem for tomorrow. As I pull my notebook and pen, the first thought that pops into my mind is to write about my cutting habit. No, that's a bad idea. That's a very, very bad idea. Why would I even think of that? I know I want a new start, but I'm not remotely ready to talk about that. Still, I think back to what Monica said to me earlier today. She said she wanted me to be more daring with my writing, and that we're all in this together. No one will judge me. Don't know how much I really believe that. I suspect that Monica might think differently if she knew the truth about me. But the more I think about it, the more I think this could be good for me. This is a habit that I really, really want to break away from, and maybe talking about it could help me with that. With that in mind, I start to write. I chose my words carefully. I don't write anything that will directly give away that I'm talking about cutting myself. I end up choosing to use a raccoon for the metaphor of self-harm. It seems fitting. I finish the poem and write the title The Raccoon at the top. I look over it one more time to make sure no one can guess what it is really about. And if they ask, I can just speak generally and say it's about an unusual habit. Or an unusual hobby. In any case, I'm feeling quite satisfied about it. I think it's time for bed. Oh, right. Looking at the blood-stained blanket and sheets makes me feel exhausted all over again. How bad would it be to just don't bother changing them? Right now it feels like even just sitting here is taking too much energy. And there's still all the blood on the floor too. I really don't want to lie on bloody sheets though. I go to the closet as I pick out a fresh sheet set. I just keep telling myself that it's the last thing I need to do. Everything else I can wait until tomorrow. I just pull the sheets and blanket off the bed and toss them in the heap on the floor. But I'm only halfway through replacing them when I finally pass out. Gee. And we'll stop here. Because my throat is hurting me a lot. And I can't keep talking because it hurts too much. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It took a little while to make the second video of this new series, but it's because I went to that camping site. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment down below what you thought of it. Comment down below new mods I can play. And well, I'll see you guys in the next episode. See you on the flip side. Goodbye, pals.